You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and in the studio today, we got DC joining us on the Sports Coma. What's going on, DC?
The sun, the moon, and the stars. That's about it. Everything is everything, man.
That's a typical DC response if you know him, fam. And this is podcast number 202 on the Sports Coma. That's right, 202 podcasts on the Sports Coma, the PRO Media Network. And on this particular podcast, we'll be talking about some Saints-related news. We'll talk about the Saints. We also going to cover some LSU news on the podcast later on as well on the Sports Coma. So let's get right into the rundown brought to you by the good folks at theposhlifestyle.com. That's POSHLYFE style.com for all your latest organic supplements, water filters, air filters, personal protection devices, EMF protection from the radiation of your smartphones that you use, and dozens of hundreds of other great products. You can put the Sports Coma and lower caps in the product section, the coupon section during purchase, the final purchase, and get 10% off on your purchase. A little gift to you at the Sports Coma. Now, getting into the rundown, we're going to talk about and discuss on the rundown today. The Saints released a few things. They refused to release Paul Turner, a former LSU wide receiver. He got the boot today so that the Saints make a move with another player. We'll tell you about that. We got some Jameis Winston news in comparison to what that would mean to the Saints, as Jameis Winston was handed down some disciplinary action. We'll break that down and talk about that. Also, Dez Bryant, former Dallas wide receiver Dez Bryant, is in the news. Again, in linking to the Saints as former current QB of the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott was asked what would be a good fit for one Dez Bryant, who turned down a lucrative contract from the Baltimore Ravens. What would be a perfect fit for him? And of course, Dak Prescott made a recommendation. We'll tell you about it. Delvin Breaux.
I might know what it is.
Delvin Breaux, of course, former Saint cornerback, injury-plagued cornerback. Delvin Breaux, one of my personal favorite cornerbacks, just couldn't keep it healthy. He was a guy that the Saints really gave an opportunity to. Of course, he found a job somewhere else. We'll break that down in our news today. And, of course, we'll give you some camp news coming up with the Saints camp as they're facing the next round of camp that's coming up. We'll break that down, give you some latest information on that. And let's peruse into the LSU news later in the podcast as we talk about the Tigers looking good in 2019. Now, I ain't said a damn thing about 2018, but we'll talk about the upcoming, a few really nice looking signings or commitments from the LSU Tigers. We'll break that down for all our Tiger fans out there. And then we'll pose the question, should LSU be patient in 2018, looking ahead to 2019?
Patience is a virtue that LSU does not have.
Okay, so we'll talk about that as well. So let's get right into it, DC, on the Sports Coma, breaking down the Saints related news stories, my friend. Paul Turner, man. Paul Turner, a former LSU Tiger. Paul Turner was released in favor of Mr. Terrence West to make room for Terrence West. So that's one less wide receiver on that. Of course, and Turner played former with the LSU. He was with Law Tech, and a lot of people really liked the fact that Turner was playing for the Saints, but the Saints decided to get rid of him over some other guys that I thought they'd get rid of before they even touch him. But they just got rid of Paul Turner straight up.
Why was you so sold on Paul Turner? I mean, we got 12 receivers. You know, we only going to – I say the fact that they holding 12, we're going to keep 6 receivers this year.
Right, but I'm just saying, Paul Turner obviously wasn't on the bottom of the wide receiver depth chart. You would have to say Josh Smith, the tight end from Tennessee. The wide receiver from Tennessee they just signed. I would say he was at the bottom of the depth chart further than anybody else.
A lot younger than Paul Turner, I'm guessing.
Well, Paul Turner was the man that got the X.
Maybe that's Alvin Kamara, one of his partners. He is from Tennessee.
Along with Colton Jumper. This guy here, man, I tell you what.
Colton Jumper, he was playing that trap music on his highlights, man. You never know.
That might have got him X. He on some stuff like your boy, the cornerback from the New England Patriots, huh? Old Belichick don't like that. But anyway, they released Turner to free up a spot for, of course, Terrence West, a man that'll be taking Mark Ingram's role, so to speak, for the first 4 weeks of the season. DC. Yep. What you think about this move by them? Is anything you want to say about that?
I'm gonna show you another major chess move. If anybody listened to Mark Ingram's interview, that'll tell you what I think about this move, because he's backing down on a lot of stuff. He, like you said, got another agent, but he said he never asked for a raise. So you know that I found that very strange. Which I like Mark Ingram. I like to see him in a black and gold uniform for as long as possible, as long as he's producing. But I don't know, man. This Terrence West thing, I'm pretty sure you got to be a little nervous if you're a Mark Ingram fan. Terrence West was a starter for Cleveland and Baltimore. And he produced right about 1,000 yards from scrimmage. So, I mean, he's capable of doing similarly what Mark Ingram did.
All right, well, there it is. Paul Turner, we wish you much success, my friend, moving forward, as Terrence West needed a spot to get on the 90-man roster, and Paul Turner was the guy that got him on there. So that's it. Right. Moving into our Jameis Winston news, DC. Jameis Winston, of course, was handed down a bit of punishment, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but I mean, is it really punishment? It's 3 games. This dude been cutting up ever since he's been in the public eye. He lucky he didn't get suspended for 6 games. Didn't he do something his rookie year? What they were talking about suspending him?
I mean, he still has stuff lagging from stuff that he
rape
had done
allegations.
In college. He's a dummy.
So apparently, he grouped the Uber driver.
It's a stupid kid, man. Stupid kid. But anyway, that's the situation that occurred according to Fox Sports. NFL
that's y'all leader, Tampa Bay?
This dude groping Uber Charles. Good luck.
You gonna eat this W and let me grab your booty.
Jameis Winston. He grabbed the female Uber driver, according to Fox News. That's the report that we got. And of course, the league is they suspended him for 3 games of the 2018 regular season. Of course, why are we talking about Jameis Winston? Because, of course, the first game of the season that the Saints, the regular season, opened up week 1 is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Mr. Jameis Winston, of course, will not be the guy that will be facing whoever that is. Who's behind him on the depth chart?
Fitzpatrick, I believe. They actually have a decent backup.
That we're going to tear that guy up. So
I'm pretty sure we will, but I don't think we just going to blow them out. I think they're going to put up a fight. They're going to have a good defense this year. So it's still going to be a challenge, but definitely you can mark down a W in the books.
Well, Jameis Winston, man, another stupid move, and that adds to a possibility. I think he had another year or so left on his contract before they get kicked out.
I think it's probably 2, and he got that option.
How many mistakes that a dumb quarterback like this going to make?
I know we supposed to demonize him because we're Saints fans and they're in the division, but when you think about it, to be honest, other than those incidents he had in college, now that I'm thinking about it, really, I don't think he ever did anything. And this incident is actually from 2016. What did he have on file? I know I made the comment a little while ago, but thinking about it, what did he do in the NFL from a discipline standpoint?
From a discipline standpoint,
while he was in the NFL.
Remember he initiated the situation with Marshawn Lattimore pointing in the back of his damn helmet? Remember that?
Come on, Q. That signifies like him not being able to play.
I mean, he's a
on the
numbskull. Come on, man. You know that.
He's a numbskull. I'm not going to argue that point. I figured that out when we was going to eat this W. I will never forget that clip. It will live forever.
That's so weird. But anyway, let's get away from him, please. And let's move to the next talk of Dez Bryant. Of course, we're talking about Dez Bryant. Now, this has been out there for some times, but recently, Dak Prescott was asked by a reporter, who you think that would be a good fit for Mr. Dez Bryant to be? And, of course, Dak Prescott said, guess what? The New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
So,
Dez
of course,
come marching in, huh?
Right. So, a lot of the people out there saying, he said, and Dak Prescott's quote was, quote, somewhere where you have a veteran quarterback in a good scheme.
Check.
He said, maybe New Orleans. I mean, that's just throwing something out there. I mean, that's just the place I could see him, hopefully not in our division, end quote. So that's Dak Prescott giving his take on what he think
Dez going to end up going. He want to be in the NFC East, though. But then there was leaks saying that he wanted to play for the 49ers. So it's all over the place. But if we do have Dez Bryant here, I can tell you this. That would be a hell of a wide receiver trio, even if Cameron Meredith is still hurt.
I can hear our Saints fans right now, our commenters right now telling me we don't need this guy. I can hear him yelling from the comment section right now that we don't need Dez Bryant. Please don't sign Dez Bryant.
We don't need Dez Bryant is because they're looking at him getting $10+ million or something like that, which he ain't been signed this long. You definitely get him at a discount. And the number two thing would be his attitude or his personality. Dez has shown flashes of being volatile, but he's also shown, I think, a more consistent approach of actually being the team guy. So, I don't know. I think he probably could fit in here, and he would be worth a shot if he wanted to play here. I mean, you got a guy that's pretty much a Hall of Famer, like you told me. You can have a possible Hall of Famer on your team for 1 year.
For a 1 year rental.
And he could teach Traquan Smith something. Yes. He's the same size. He can teach Cameron Meredith something. He's the same size. And Michael Thomas can definitely learn something from Dez Bryant. All these guys are the same size. And get this. Don't we love running the ball?
Yes, we do.
What you think Dez was doing over there for the Cowboys?
Run blocking his ass off?
He was blocking. So, I don't know, man. It's been whispers, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see that happen, especially after we wasn't able to land Jimmy Graham because we did want another receiving target.
Well, I mean,
still think we would have drafted a receiver too.
My thing on this is, of course, a 1 year rental, and you're looking at chasing the Super Bowl. Dez Bryant and Mike Thomas together, 6'3", 6 big wide receivers, 6'3", 6'4", huge wide receivers. You throw Cam Meredith in there, 6'4". All those guys can run. All those guys can catch. And I guarantee you, if the Saints do happen to sign, I'm not saying that they do, but let's say you never know. You know, a lot of guys think that they can predict what Sean Payton could do. Remember, let me mention this as well while I'm on it. Remember some time ago, Sean Payton came out and said that he would not address the running back position, that he would rely on the running backs that he had. Remember that? Remember what I said about that? Now, I'm going to just make mention of that, then move back into Dez Bryant.
I want to give you something.
Remember, because I'm saying this for a reason.
You're demonizing our head coach.
No.
Sean Payton said, and I checked you on this with the remember the Ryan Ramczyk fiasco? He leaves these key words in there that people miss. He said he would not address the running back position immediately. He wanted to see what we had.
So you got a freaking lawyer here. The litigious Sean Payton.
She's very litigious. He covers his tracks. Believe me, me, because I done went back and listened to it.
Well,
again.
All I'm saying is at the end of the day, he made a comment about the running
Everybody
back position. And they believed that you wasn't going to just rely on those guys. And next thing you know, you had four running backs coming here trying out for the job, or 3 or 4 running backs trying out for the running back job that he was going to rely on and not give any extra snaps to one Alvin Kamara. Then they said they said Alvin Kamara might get an extra 5 snaps again. Just a smidgen of extra. That blasted Sean.
He got 10 pass attempts, 15 rushes.
Sean Payton is really something else. But anyway, we about to get.
You know what? We demonize him for it, but don't you think us as fans and we follow the team with a microscope, how hard do you think it is for other NFL teams to figure out what Sean Payton's doing? If the people who follow the team every day
Man,
I was on in.
I've been saying it for years about Sean Payton. I was saying it last season, the season before that, about Sean Payton. Remember I had the liar music?
Slippery.
You know? So
he's slippery.
I'm saying that to say this, as far as like he commented about the running back situation and that they were not interested in Mr. Dez Bryant, but he's still out there. And listen, at the right price and a 1-year rental with Dez Bryant, the Saints could be very interested. So we about to go into our first break. Talking about the Saints. When we come back on the other side of the break, we'll continue more Saints issues, talk about Mr. Delvin Breaux, and also some DC going to give us some information on the camp, news, as well as a few other Saints issues. And also we got LSU talk coming up real soon. So stay with us. You listen to the Sports Coma. Big Q and the guy.
What up, sports world? It's Big Q from the Sports Coma, representing the PRO Media Network, letting you know that the PRO Media Network is in a push now on a mission to gain 10,000 subs. That's right, 10K on the subs. And to help promote to get 10,000, the PRO Media Network is not only going to be doing the shows that you love so much about the Saints, the Pelicans, or LSU, but also it'll expand out to bigger stories about the NFL, the NBA, and even include new content dealing with anime, gaming, and even movie reviews in an attempt to expand out its platform. So if you're a fan of the PRO Media Network, the Sports Coma, or the Pelican Post Game Report, and other podcasts made by the PRO Media Network, please join us in our effort, in our mission to get 10,000 subs. Share us with your fans, share us with friends, share us with family members, and help the PRO Media Network gain 10,000 subs. Peace.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, theposhlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFD style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Podcast 202, talking about the Saints, man. We got LSU talk coming up real soon as we breaking down the Saints information about what's going on. DC gonna give us some camp information coming up with the Saints cap. Gonna break that down. About to delve right into the Delvin Breaux news. Of course, remember Sports Coma just recently released a video depth chart that had Delvin Breaux on it. Of course, it was mentioned that he wasn't on that, and then like a couple days later, isn't that weird? A story comes out about Delvin Breaux signing to go and play in the CFL. He's going to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, signed a 1-year deal to go up there. And of course, Delvin Breaux was quoted as saying, "This is home to me," he said, and that's what he was talking about, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And it's a 1-year deal, of course, and how the deals are structured is he has to stay in the CFL for that duration of the contract. Hopefully, if he could prove that he can stay healthy, he can make it back to an NFL roster. Maybe the Saints, perhaps down the line. I don't know, but we do bring our cornerbacks back if we love them, a la Patrick Robinson. So it's a few of those guys that we could possibly be looking at. And Delvin Breaux could be one of those guys, that we come back as well. So big ups to Delvin Breaux. Much love and much luck to Delvin Breaux as he tries to establish the fact that he's not injury prone with that 1-year rental in the CFL. DC, you want to talk about that? Make mention of Delvin Breaux.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations for him. You sound very excited and ecstatic to get back to playing football. it's probably the second time where it was looking bleak in this man's career where he wouldn't be able to play professional ball at all. So I just want to say congratulations to him first. And I think if he does go out there and he performs at a higher level than he performed before in the CFL, I think we definitely can see him back in a black and gold jersey. Delvin Breaux said the Saints were even interested in bringing him back this year, but they didn't give him a decision on whether they're going to bring him back right now or not. They wanted to see what's going on with the young guys first, and he had to make a decision that was good for him. So definitely understand that. And who knows? If he goes in the CFL and he cuts up, I think we'd probably be the first team to call him. And from what he was saying, he would love to come back, and he's going to be rooting for black and gold while he's playing in the CFL.
You know what? I love that, man. I love that big time. Delvin Breaux has always been one of my favorites, like Keenan Lewis.
Yeah, I love Delvin.
So, I mean, that's another
Keenan
guy.
Lewis, too.
Big ups to those guys, really. A favorite of mine. Interesting, hopefully, like DC said so elegantly, that much love and luck to Delvin moving ahead of his career. And what we know about the young man, bro, he going to fight through. He's a fighter. Look what the man had to come through.
Spinal cord injury.
That'll settle most of them down.
Ryan Shazier type injury.
Right. But so that's an inspiration to those people dealing with those type of situations for this man to kind of still living his dream of playing ball. So in the end, like we said, much love to him as well as he's moving forward. Now, DC, let's go ahead and talk about our next topic. You got some camp news about the Saints camp coming up, brother. What you got?
Not very much news, but just a little tidbit. What you call it, giblets?
Giblets. There you go, brother.
I don't eat that, but I thought I could.
Well, say what's your salad equivalent to giblets?
Avocados. It don't rhyme.
No.
But moving on. So the Saints have training camp set up for July 18th for the rookies. So this is something to look forward to. You got the rookies coming in there. They're going to be coming in a week earlier than the veterans. The veterans will be showing up on July 25th. And we've also found out, well, we already knew the Saints were going to be having training camp in Metairie, but that is confirmed as well. Mm-hmm. And they will be having joint practices with the Los Angeles Chargers on the 23rd and the 24th. Very amazing team, good team to get some practice again.
Yes, indeed.
They may be in the playoffs this year.
Yes, indeed.
And that's going to be in advance of the preseason game that they play against them. So that's pretty much it for Saints news. Saints don't really have a lot of news about anything right now pertaining to training camp. So I would say that's good news. That means our injuries possibly are on schedule. Nobody's getting in any more trouble, a la Mark Ingram.
Let's hope, man. Keep fingers crossed, man.
Well, we've already had our hit. It happens every year.
You
have one big storyline in the summer, and I think we had it. Now we got to see if we can duck the injuries, because it's usually a thing with the Saints where we get this one injury that was like, But we got people coming back from injury, so hopefully maybe that's just our injury stories this year.
Please, no more other stuff.
We've already had our big distraction stories, so that's out the way.
Right. So we was able to
selling.
We got enough time to be able to make adjustments to some of this stuff that was going on. So, in enough time, the Mark Ingram thing popped up. We was able to bring in Terrence West, who Sean Payton said he wouldn't be bringing anybody. So we end up with Terrence West.
We may be bringing in Dez Bryant.
I'm just saying, you never trust what Sean Payton said.
Just to touch on that one more time.
People be literally
if we bring in Dez Bryant,
you can't take him at his word like you can't take lawyers at their word, man. I keep telling people that it's a business, and whatever that man got to do to make sure his team, he might have thought that way at the time, but then when he come back and realize, when he watched some of those guys in camp, say, this guy's not really ready.
Right.
And he's watching the guy every damn day. He might see, damn, this guy don't pick up blocking schemes like we really want to. I might have to go get him more of experience back. I don't really want to put this much pressure on Alvin Kamara. If I get Alvin Kamara hurt by giving him too much, that'll directly impact what I'm trying to do on all. I need him to be healthy. If all people, Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara have to be healthy for the Saints to maximize that offense. Do you agree?
To maximize it?
To get the most maximum out of that offense.
Yes.
Kamara and Brees have to be there.
Yes, but I think for them to be a top 5 offense, I think they still can do it without Alvin Kamara. Only because they've went and addressed the wide receiver position, which was a glaring hole last year. We didn't have enough depth with people who could actually make plays and catch the ball. Brandon Coleman was an excellent blocker. Ted Ginn was a good complimentary piece, but he wasn't quite that number 2 guy. He's more of a guy that's going to get you 700 yards, 5 touchdowns. You need somebody else if you're going to have a guy like that to replace what we lost with Brandon Cooks.
Okay. Very good, DC.
But like I was saying, if we did bring in a Dez Bryant, I think a lot of talk about us not doing anything in the offseason. Everybody's like, oh, the Saints didn't really do much. It would immediately go to we had great offseason moves.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's a real important step as well, is the health overall of some of my key personnel on offense and defense, no doubt about it. Now, let's talk about a couple of more stories about ranking stories. By the way, Alvin Kamara, DC.
I called it.
Alvin Kamara on the NFL Network's top 100. Alvin Kamara lands at number 20th on that list. What you think about that?
I think that's perfect. I remember when Marshawn Lattimore and Michael Thomas were both in the 80s and we were scolding people about their placement. Michael Thomas was, according to PFF, he was the 2nd ranked wide receiver in the whole league, and you rank him 83rd.
I think that was just disrespectful
right.
to do that. But that'd be more motivation for Michael Thomas.
Marshawn Lattimore as well should have been a little higher
right.
than 80. I'd say maybe around the 60s, 70s.
Right.
But anyway, I said if they didn't put Alvin Kamara at least inside the top 25, they smoking crack. And they put him right at 20, man. I think where he belongs. They had Everson Griffin in front of him, and they had Cam Jordan behind Everson Griffin. I don't know if I agree with that. Everson Griffin is a great player, but I think those 2 guys are probably better than Everson Griffin. But their peers say differently. So I don't have a problem with him being 20. I mean, he's a rookie, and he's the 20th best player out of his colleagues. I would say that's very impressive.
It is very impressive.
Extremely impressive.
To be the top 5 out of.
And you were a backup. Basically, you're a complimentary back. That just shows you how crazy high Alvin Kamara's potential is.
And that's your rookie year, and that's
Marshall
really
Faulk, Barry Sanders type potential.
Right. I
say potential, y'all. Potential.
Right. But that's the interesting thing, how difficult and how hard it is for you to be the top 5 or the top 2 or top 5% in your craft.
He was basically the number 2 running back.
I mean, whatever you might do for a living,
efficient-wise, statistically.
Right, whatever. Just picture it like this. Whatever you guys do for a living, I don't know. You might be mechanics. You might be work on the barges. I mean, I don't know what the hell. You might lift bridges for a living. I don't know what the hell you do. Whatever you do, imagine if you were with the top 3, the best, or maybe the top 3 in whatever you did and wherever you are.
In the whole United States.
Imagine that. That's how difficult.
Your first year doing it.
That you're better than everybody in the entire country, in the whole nation.
You ain't
That's
even
amazing.
Figured everything out yet. This is your first year doing it.
Yeah, you're just screwing around with it. You're just naturally good at it. That's how I like to try to make it picture it. But anyway, let's go to the last Saints-related story, DC, before we switch to Tiger Talk. The Falcons, of course, there was an article out on Falcons Wire, and of course, I about the Julio Jones situation, about Julio looking for a new contract. Of course, Julio, it's potential that he might not be reporting to camp.
And he working out with T.O.
Right.
Is that good? Get your popcorn ready.
It's a good story for us because as Saints fans, we love any time Atlanta up something. I mean, excuse my French, but my Portuguese. But anyway,
from New Orleans, man. We all speak French.
Okay, so right. So anytime Atlanta's screwing something up, of course, we love it. And of course, I like to monitor enemy media, news stories, a la the Jameis Winston news media, and the Falcons, of course. Now, of course, PFF did a story on the Falcons offensive line and ranked them 12th in pass blocking, right? And guess who's number 1 in the PFF rankings in pass blocking? The black and gold, baby. The black and gold. The black and gold boys from down south. The Saints ranked number 1 in pass blocking efficiency, according to PFF.
I think that's pretty amazing, man. Yeah. I've been telling people, the Saints have a top 10 offensive line, and we never really get any credit for offensive line when you think about it. Because I think people would like to attribute it to scheme, which I think scheme does play a part in it.
Right.
But don't play a part in all them road-grading run blocks I saw last year. Ain't no scheme for that. You just got to put the work in.
DC, absolutely. DC, look at that line. Look how solid that healthy.
Massive,
remember, we had the last podcast. You talked about how fresh and awesome Tyron Armstead looks. Now he probably
we had number one pass blocking O-line last year,
and he was in and out the lineup.
We had a bunch of unhealthy people. Andrews Pete was unhealthy. Larry Warford was unhealthy. Tyron Armstead was unhealthy.
But Tara, according to you, you
Ryan
did observation.
Was the consistent one.
You had observation on Taron Armstead. You was able to see Armstead.
Right.
According to your analysis and your observation, you said, and I'm just quoting you because you looked at it, that Armstead looked healthier than he's looked in years. Yeah. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have a healthy Tyron Armstead coming into training camp along with Andrews Pete, who's looking good too, right?
Andrews Pete he's still coming back.
But he should be ready. I'm hearing a report saying that he's on par to be there for when the big meat and potato camp start. Yeah. So Unga is the rock in the middle.
Unga is probably his first offseason. I don't think he was dealing with. He had a nagging injury to probably 2 of the off seasons that he's been here. This is his 3rd year, I believe.
But there's no problem with that. He's healthy.
Coming from Seattle, he was dealing with something.
He did have an issue.
He had a foot issue last year.
He did.
That went into training camp.
But now that's not the case.
Completely
he's
healthy.
100% healthy. And Larry Warford is 100% healthy.
He had abdominal issues during the season.
And guess what? Larry Warford,
100% healthy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't last year Larry Warford's first season as a Saint?
First season.
And he went to the Pro Bowl in his first season as a guard for the Saints, correct?
Yeah.
And then of course, on the right side, there's Ryan Ramczyk,
he could have possibly went
who
to the Pro Bowl
started and played every snap of the Saints offensive snap schedule. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have
after he replaced Zach Strief, of course.
Zach Strief and Taron Armstead in situations.
Well, they moved him over there
right
when they didn't want to move Andrews Pete.
So it's what I'm saying is from an offensive standpoint, that's great because number one pass blocking with Drew Brees back there. So in the end, going forward, the Saints, man, the offensive line is a major strength for the Saints. And I'm just really proud of the fact that we have such talented offensive linemen, man, and good depth too.
Alvin Kamara and Ingram gets all the credit, but
I would love to see PFF's rankings and their run blocking.
When
I'm
you
gonna
think
look
about
that
it,
up.
that offensive line, man, until we got this offensive line, we had Ingram. Ingram was starting to do things, but we weren't able to put up the type of numbers we put until we got this line together. So it's telling that they're number one in pass blocking.
I wonder what they're on.
But we were number 6 or number 5 in total rushing yards. So they got to be right up there in run blocking too. So hopefully this will bring this to the attention of people who always be sleeping on the Saints offensive line since we lost what was your guy's name? Nick
Carl Nicks.
Carl Nicks. We lost him. And, everything kind of fell apart after that. Jabari Evans started looking old, you know.
Yeah, Jabari Evans, and
John Stitchcomb retired.
He gave us good minutes too.
Zach Strief
retired. But
he was still around this time.
But that's still
we had a down
though.
Period.
But because you made the transition, you lose Zach Strief.
Right.
And now you get Ryan Ramczyk goes right in there. Taron Armstead's healthy. Warford is all pro. Max Unga still playing at a high level. Andrews Pete health is a question, but when he's healthy, he's a dominant pass blocking guy as well. Then the depth situation.
He's very underrated. People like to think of him as a bust, but Andrews Pete.
That's compared to all that talent on that offensive line.
Andrews Pete
could
have possibly been a Pro Bowler last year. If you go and look at some of the blocks this man was laying out running the ball,
if he'd stayed healthy, he could have been a case for that. If he stayed healthy,
amazing.
He could have made a case to be an All-Pro campaign.
People calling him a bust. I guarantee you, if the Saints wasn't able to keep him, they had somebody throwing $12, $15 million a year at him.
At Andrews, right? So big time. The Saints got Andrews Pete, former first-round draft pick. Ryan Ramczyk in there playing in line. Warford's there. Unger's the rock, and then Armstead's healthy. Terrific depth. You look at Jermon Bushride's back to provide quality depth at either tackle or guard position, whatever you need them. You got Josh Larebius, who was able to come back. They signed him back as well. There's a lot of veteran talent that plays multiple positions. Larebius plays guards and center. Right. Bushride is supposed to be that guy. Right. Could be left either guard or tackle. Plus, the Saints have a lot of young candidates involved. Cameron Time, they got a lot of love for Cameron Time. There's also some of the guys that just picked up the big offensive lineman, Trevor Darling from the Miami Hurricanes, who played 40-something games as a Hurricane, can play either guard or tackle for you. A lot of guys there.
Name our Florida State kids.
Then there's of course. How can I forget Rick Leonard? 6'7". So that's another tackle prospect that's behind third round.
LSU kid too.
That's also Will Clapp. So very deep. John Fullington. If I'm forgetting a few guys, forgive me, because of course we have that depth chart.
You pretty much named them all.
A couple of guys.
Name Landon Turner.
No, Landon Turner. Jack Allen. Jack Allen's another former All-American. Cameron Time, we mentioned him. So if I forget your name, guys, forgive me. But they didn't forget him on the video report. Let me plug that right quick. If you've seen the video report, the first one, there's a second video report that's going to be coming out. It's going to be an updated video report. Of course, it's not going to turn it on and learn, and they're going to have the names and names as well. So it's going to be an updated one. Y'all be looking out for that. But now that we've done with our Saints talk, moving forward, we got to take our break right here. And when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to talk right about our LSU news, break down our LSU stuff. DC got some stuff he want to talk about, being patient, about Coach O. He going to touch on Les Miles said it and all this kind of stuff. A lot of sour grapes sound like to me. But anyway, we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Miles still bleed purple. Yeah, man, he can't get a job nowhere. He's still going to bleed. I mean, that's a tough thing. But anyway, when we come back, we'll talk about LSU talk on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
Check out the Crown They Ass World podcast, covering all the news and issues that affect you and the ones you care about, only on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to The Sports Coma, your new #1 podcast on everything Saints, Pelicans, and a lot more. And now, here's your host, Big Q and the guys.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We're talking about LSU. For all the LSU people out there who bleed purple and gold, the LSU people, man.
I see somebody bleed purple and gold, I'm calling the FBI or something, man. You call them Men in Black.
Hey, listen, man. I'm telling you, man. They got guys, man, that bleed black. I mean, not black. They bleed black and gold, and they bleed purple and gold. Listen, the LSU Tiger fans are real, man. We got a lot of them listen to the show. Thank y'all, guys, because we're gonna talk about some LSU because that's our favorite college team beyond the Saints and the Pelicans. Man, we need them guys to step on some Crimson Tide. Right, we got to stop that phenomenon. But anyway, this segment we're gonna talk about LSU news and break down some really interesting stories. Of course, DC got the story about what Les Miles is in a little, maybe perhaps some sour grapes. So let Ogeron, maybe some complimentary words. We're going to talk about that in just a second.
Them grapes sound like fine wine to my ears, to be exact. Right. Coach O was getting a business from Les Miles. He was going in on him, man.
Hey, listen.
I don't know what made Les Miles just come out on Thursday. That was a while ago now. We just covering it. But it was on the John Ennis show. First, he goes into talking about recruiting. He says, when you watch middle linebacker play with those defensive linemen out there was some recruiting that was done. I guess alluding to the fact that Les Miles didn't have a good recruiting class, that he had to build up, from what he had. Like, he didn't leave him Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis, and all these other players, Trevor Durrell, and a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying? Talent, I'm just naming offense. I ain't even get to the defense.
He ain't leaving with a bare cupboard, that's for certain.
And Les Miles goes on to say, I guess what I'm saying is that I never accepted the feeling of, hey, you need to have patience, Miles said. When you say that, you need to have patience, aren't you really just saying that your team is not good enough to win?
Wow.
Because I want you to know something. I never took the field with the Tigers where I didn't think that I was absolutely going to kick someone's tail. Pretty sure I didn't say tail. And
knowing Les Miles, it probably wasn't.
That we were the best team, period. It took me a time during the week to get myself in position where I said, yeah, okay, we got them. We got the plan. The plan is in. We're ready to play, Miles continued. That took some time, but I never asked to give me a break here. Hey, listen, the Tigers are good. The Tigers got good players. The Tigers can play. Hey, you know what? We didn't make any mistakes. You guys are going to play your butts off, and Saturday you're going to kick the living hell out of the opponents. You're gonna kick the living hell out of the opponents, and that's not the way it is. Certain people need to have a safety net, Miles said. He started to raise his voice. If you need a safety net, you need not coach for the Tigers.
Yes.
Les Miles going in on Coach O. And guess what, y'all? Just like Drake, he did not respond.
How could you respond? What could you say against that? You don't have a safety net at LSU, and really that's what they've been preaching about: being patient. Wow, it's already been determined about the LSU schedule.
You got to put the bombs off like they be doing on
right. He bombed the shit out of me. That was a bombardment. Big time, because Coach Miles was right though. You don't have a safety net coach in there. You got to make it work. When you agree to be the LSU Tigers head coach, though the fan base and the boosters, those guys want to see wins, and they want to see big wins against and dominating play, especially when you facing up against some of the cream of crop team of the SEC. In particular, you have Auburn that's really stepping their game play up. You have guys, the dominant team winning championships is Alabama. Not to mention the coach that used to coach, that's now coaching in Alabama, used to coach for LSU. But that's what I'm saying. But that's a relationship between LSU and Alabama that just went up levels. So if you take that job, you have to be able to beat Alabama. I don't care.
We could have won.
If you don't win any games,
you could go 1-13.
If you beat Alabama, we good. We good with that. Because if you beat Alabama and you won one game 9 times out of 10, you probably knocked them out of contention. So, the reality of the situation at the end of the day is that they were given enough talent. He has enough talent to win. But the patience factor is 2018, DC. Right. 2018, they said the toughest schedule in the SEC is LSU, right?
Yeah.
I'll say so. We have the hardest football schedule in the SEC. Questions all over the place on this team, especially on the offense. Who's the quarterback? Is it Joe Barrow? Is it 2 or 3 of the other guys that's fighting for the position? We don't know. Running back positions is questions. Wide receivers are questions. But you know what's not questioned, DC? The fact of the matter that LSU's 2019 team could really be something special because they have a bevy of commitments from some of the top players in the game, including Mr. Derek Stingley Jr., number 1 ranked cornerback in the country, gave a verbal commitment to come to LSU in 2019's class, which is turning up to be a phenomenal class because you got Stingley there. Then there's also potential other recruits like John Emery Jr., the 4-star recruit from Destrehan. You got Dante Stalks, the 4-star guy out of Marrero with John Eric.
Right.
You got Ray Parker, the 4-star tight end from Ruston. You got Christian Harris, the 4-star athlete from Baton Rouge. You got Devin Bush, another 4-star cornerback from out the city. So when it comes down to it, man, and how could I forget Trey Palmer, the 4-star wide receiver from Kentwood? So they got a bevy of different really good, talented players that have an opportunity to come and be on this team. Not to mention, I didn't even mention Peter Parrish. I didn't mention Peter Parrish, the second best or the top-rated dual-threat quarterback prospect in the country.
Yeah,
is now committed to go to LSU. So I say all that to say, and I'm going to ask you this question here. Now, you talked about the patience factor and you don't have a safety net. Okay, the question I'm going to ask, and of course, fans, y'all can feel free to chime in and answer this question yourself. Should LSU be patient in 2018 knowing about that terrific 2019 class that's coming in?
No. When you got a player with the talent of Devin White, for one, just that one player that guy is transcendent, man. He's probably a top 10 for me, college player in the whole country. And you know what LSU going to give you on the offensive line and the rest of the defensive line. We always have at least a good, at least offense and defensive line. So you can win the war in the trenches. You get some skilled players in there. We don't know how any of the skilled players are going to pan out. You don't really have anybody returning. You would be like, oh, what about Gage? Gage is gone. He had that 1 year, but he left.
Gone.
You know, we don't have anything going. There's a lot of talk about Jonathan Giles. It's supposed to be the man. He got the coveted number 7.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what he can do. But when you look at LSU as a program and what they've always continually been able to do, they've always had transitionary periods. We didn't know who the Honey Badger was at first. Had no idea.
Right.
You saw him make some plays.
Right.
Over there, you didn't know who he was. You heard stories about Odell Beckham Jr., but I can guarantee you nobody really knew much about Jarvis Landry.
Well, I mean, Jarvis Landry was a guy that they had inklings on, but I mean,
it was inklings.
But
like
to see them turn into
you didn't know they were going to turn into what they turned into.
Odell Beckham at LSU, you knew he was going to be something special. Jarvis Landry,
you
of
had
course,
an idea what Newman
but in my opinion, as far as with that answering that question is, I ain't gonna say it, but to me, his star kind of shined brighter than Landry. I knew Landry was gonna be a solid receiver. I didn't expect Landry to be as good as he was gonna be at the next level. I knew Odell Beckham was gonna be a star.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you had them with LSU. I'm only focusing on LSU, not focusing on the next level. I'm focusing on when they got here at LSU. We had an idea with Odell Beckham, just like you had an idea with Leonard Fournette.
You knew what he was going to do.
The Leonard Fournette name was ringing bells.
When he was at St. Aug.
Right.
Right. So
Odell Beckham, same thing.
Same thing.
But Jarvis Landry was my point. You didn't really hear him. You heard a little bit.
No. I mean,
and Jarvis Landry,
he was going to be good, but no.
Jarvis Landry... No. I promise y'all need to go look up statistics. He was almost just as productive as Odell Beckham, except he wasn't returning kicks and that whole
right.
thing,
he didn't have the flash game. The flash game.
So you always have these guys, man. LSU has done that a bunch of times. Or maybe we could have a Matt Flynn, a guy that's not overly just dramatic or flashy, but he's a winner. You won with them. So I don't agree with the whole thing of being patient, especially when you're an SEC team. The South region of the country is where all the best football players is. It's like we can't argue that most of the best basketball players are in the North because they're a lot taller. You know, and the fact that you're talking about being patient with an organization like LSU, I'm not so sure how much they can be patient. I don't think they have that as a virtue in their mind. So good luck with that, Coach O. Les Miles' speech is the embodiment of what I know LSU to be after following them for the last 20-some-odd years.
Right.
It's always been that, even when they weren't on the map, they always were a team that felt they were right there.
Yeah, you know, it's this year, though, it's all the makings of it. You know, they can gearing it up to say, well, look what 2019 is going to look. We got some of the best recruits for verbal commitments. Of course, that's not a solid deal. They can also, it's just a verbal commitment. There's nothing in signing. Of course, they can recant and say, yeah, we based on this, we going to end up going somewhere else. So, but based on the commitment aspect, they're really lining up some terrific players. But 2018 is here, not 2019's in the future. So 2018 is here. And we have to focus on what this team could do this year. Now, of course, we had a previous show. We talked about dealing with LSU and what we thought that what they were going to do. But 2018, and you're dealing with so many questions at the quarterback position, running back position, wide receiver position. Of course, you get Del Pitt back on the defensive side of the ball. You have a few really good defensive linemen. Linebackers are still there. So it's going to be interesting to see that most of these guys could actually step up and contribute on a major level to help LSU actually make some steps to beat Alabama. Because a lot of people look at Alabama and says, based upon what we know, unless Joe Barrow turns into some superstar quarterback to lead this team, a lot of people not expecting LSU to be a dominant player in the SEC this year. I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I understand that. And that's
and I'm a Tiger fan. I'm be honest.
And that's
with
a definite. I see the Tigers winning maybe 7 or 8 games, 9 if we lucky, right around what we did. If we get 10 wins, we need to have parade. But
seriously,
right? My whole thing,
Coach O has got a breakthrough.
My whole thing isn't that. My thing is
if that happens.
My whole thing is, as a coach and as a team, the hell with what I think. They're supposed to believe that they're contending for a national championship. Yeah. And it shouldn't be anything less. That's the type of pedigree a program like LSU has, a program like Georgia has, a program like Alabama has, a program like Oregon has, or Notre Dame, and I can go on and on with all of these teams.
To be
in the beginning of the year, this is what they're thinking, and this is what they're supposed to be thinking. Yes. If you're not thinking that in the beginning of the year, then how the hell will it happen?
Right.
How will it happen for the next recruiting class? If they come in on the back end of this recruiting class who was told that, to be patient.
That's amazing.
They're going to tell him, well, you got to be a little patient.
Yeah, just be patient.
Leadership has a funny way of just rolling down to the man at the bottom.
The example's been set.
If your head coach has that, this is going to be the mindset of young, malleable players. You want to mold them into being champions, even if you feel like that they may not win. Maybe this is a comment you say after the season.
Right.
Right. But you don't tell that to your players.
Coming into
and
the
you
season.
don't go in there with the idea that you don't know what can happen.
Right.
You don't know what you fully have until you see them play in about 3 or 4 games.
Right. So, I mean,
you might have a superstar on your roster that
you're not
that's
aware
messing
of.
up right now.
Yeah.
But he get out there when the lights come on
and turn into something excellent. That's true.
Look at Steve Smith. Steve Smith was a guy that they had problems with. He got kicked off his original team, and he went to Utah, and he was fighting in practice and all of that. Y'all seen the NFL story? They benched him. They say Steve Smith was crying, man. He said, I got to play. And from that moment on, it turned around. And when they turned them lights on, he was a monster.
Yeah, he's
and nobody anticipated on Steve Smith being that with Utah.
No, they didn't.
That's just one player. What if you have 2 or 3 guys like that?
And I've always respected and loved Steve Smith, his stature. He always played with a chip on his shoulder. That's the same mentality that a guy like Russell Westbrook, who plays for in the basketball world has that chip on their shoulder, that chip on their shoulder.
Right.
But looking at the quarterback position at LSU, which is the subject of much scrutiny, Breaux, who's a transfer who comes over from Ohio State, then is Justin McMillan, followed by both the sophomore Miles Brennan.
McMillan is supposedly the starter right now.
But then there's sophomore Miles Brennan, who they gave some burn to last year to see if he can do something, was unimpressive. And then there's the freshman Lowell Narcisse. So there's a few questions of who's going to rise above it and take it. A lot of people say it's going to be Burrow, including J.T. Barrett, through his 2 sets.
I think it has to be Burrow. Burrow is a senior. Burrow is a smart player. In his limited time, he did a lot more than Brennan did, probably about the same amount of reps or so. He might have had less reps than Brennan and still put up better numbers. But you go and you get this guy. He's a senior. Obviously, you told him he's gonna play.
Right.
So
you got to.
I think Burrow is pretty much a lot for the number one quarterback spot. And then we don't know what Burrow is. What if Burrow turns out to be the second coming of at least Mettenberger? Or maybe better than him, because Mettenberger did have 2 awesome receivers. But that was the last competent quarterback we had.
And you could call out
at LSU.
Right.
So
I mean, but that's the
what
thing.
Does that turn? That might be good for 3 wins.
It might, but it depends on who's calling the plays, which is another question.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
What up, sports world? It's Big Q from the Sports Coma, representing the PRO Media Network, letting you know that the PRO Media Network is in a push now on a mission to gain 10,000 subs. That's right, 10K on the subs. And to help promote to get 10,000, the PRO Media Network is not only going to be doing the shows that you love so much about the Saints, the Pelicans, or LSU, but also it'll expand out to bigger stories about the NFL, the NBA, and even include new content dealing with anime, gaming, and even movie reviews in an attempt to expand out its platform. So if you're a fan of the PRO Media Network, the Sports Coma, or the Pelican Post Game Report, and other podcasts made by the PRO Media Network, please join us in our effort, in our mission to get 10,000 subs. Share us with your fans, share us with friends, share us with family members, and help us help the PRO Media Network gain 10,000 subs. Peace.